got a frog in my throat. Welcome to Suffolk Socks, where I Let's Knit podcast. My name's Julie, and you can find me on Instagram and all social media as Suffolk Socks. I run Suffolk Socks, which is an online yarn shop that stocks all wool, so all sock wool, needles and notions. It's all commercial sock yarn, really lovely. So that's the intro. It's Friday today, it's lovely outside. I'm saying that looking out the window because I haven't been past the doors today. I had a late start to the morning. I usually have my grandchildren on a Friday because we're in their bubble. But they're not coming today. So I thought, you know what? I'm going to do a podcast because I've got nothing planned. It's the 5th of March, and this is the first podcast of 2021. So how are you? Are you all well? It's been a while, but never mind. We're coming to the end of it, hopefully. Although I think, I don't think I can see me going out the house without a mask on or anything. I haven't had me vaccination yet. Jonathan, my husband, he's been invited for his on Tuesday. And I'm older than him, so I reckon he'll have to do all the shopping. But that's not a problem. He'll just get takeaway. In fact, he got up this morning, he says, bye. And I looked forward to a McDonald's takeaway at night for me tea. And all I could think was, yes. Right, let's get into works. Finished objects. And I've got a few. I lost all my mojo a little bit. I did, I think it was so intense getting all the Christmas socks out, even though every year I say I'm never knitting socks for anybody for Christmas. It just wouldn't be the same if I didn't give my kids, and, respective partners and me dad and me mum a pair of hand knit socks. Me mum didn't get a pair this year, so I bought her some. Shock and shame on me, but I did. But they were lovely. And but I thought I was so knit out with sock knitting last year that I thought I'm just going to concentrate on a few other things. But they've slowly crept back in because I love sock knitting and colour work. Although it's not all socks I'm going to show you. I will show you my most recent finished object. I did a test knit for Shauna of Adelaide Cottage for her Winds of Change. Oh, goodness me, let me have a look. I think it's Winds of Change. Change of Winds. Winds of Change. Winds of Chain Cowl. And it's by Shauna Morath Designs. And Shauna is Adelaide Cottage. Oh, and this was lovely. I never tested it for anybody. I've done it once before, and I found all the rules and how to do this and how to do that. And I thought, this is a nightmare. I can't be doing with this. But this, I couldn't resist. And this is it. I won't tell you too much about it because she's given us the background to the design, and it's a lovely read. The only problem I have with this pattern is it's going to be a free pattern, and I think it's well worth making it a paid for pattern, but that's her choice. So it's this is her cowl, but I haven't even tried it on, I've just blocked it. I've knit it using the Fibre Company yarn Amble, because I haven't got a high tickle tolerance when it comes to next to my face. Oh, it is just lovely. And Shauna's instructions, it's so clear, the instructions, that it was a breeze to knit. Would you have to be good at colour work experience? No, I think actually this is a really good introduction to colour work because it's just 2 colours used. The instructions are really clear, so that I think this bit is a 42 stitch pattern repeat, but then it's just so many rows, and then she's I don't want to tell you too much. I'm not quite sure how much I can give away, but keep an eye out for it. It's coming out, I believe, the middle of March. I want to say the 14th of March, but I couldn't be sure, I'm not very good with dates like that, but this is it. Oh, it's really, really lovely. And it's our first design. Well, it's our first published design, I think. Isn't that lovely? I've used Ishbel for the main colour and Appleby Castle for the red. I think it's Ishbel. Or it might be. Why do I say Ishbel? I don't even know if an Ishbel is the colour. Anyway, that's the colour. And the claret, which is Appleby Castle. But I loved knitting this. I rattled it off in about 3 days. Might take longer when everything's back to normal and there's somewhere for us to go. And, you know, my social life kicks up a step. Not that it ever, I don't think it's gone down the steps since lockdown. So I've got the best social life to start with. Really lovely. I used about 45 grams of the main colour and about 25 of the contrast colour. So I guess I can see another one of them coming, just to try it with different wools. I think I might try it in the John Arbin Exmoor sock yarn, just to see what it knits up like. Because the Amble is one of my higher priced sock yarns I have in the shop, but it's well worth the indulgence. My hair's getting long, isn't it? Sorry. I can actually get my fringe tucked behind me ear, which is like just such a bonus for me. Right, one of my other finished works in progress, finished projects, is my spring sock design from the School Socks collection. This is knit using, I'm going to take the sock blockers off for this because you can't really see the fade. This is knit using Lang, I think it's Lang, twin sock yarn, and it's a fade. So there's the first one. It's my School Socks Rock design is made up of 3 designs: the spring term, autumn term, and summer term. And this is the spring term. I was going to knit them all up. I'm slowly knitting them all up to make to re-photograph. So these are them. Now you should, if you have 2 pairs, this 2 balls, be exactly the same. But I think I have a bit of yarn management gone wrong here, because my fade starts here on one and there on the other. But that doesn't matter, doesn't bother me. You knit from the inside of the ball. But on reflection, I think the next time I knit with this wool, I'll knit from the outside. I think I'll just go from the outside, because I quite like the darker colour at the top. And obviously the fade is a little bit, well, not obviously, but the fade seemed to be a little bit shorter yardage from the outside. So yeah, these are lovely. These are, I'm not quite sure who these are for. Well, I am, I think these are going to be for my mum for Mother's Day. So I'll have to I'm not even going to block them, I'm just going to get them in the post off to her so she can get them as soon as possible. I've got a little eyelet. Well, actually, no, these aren't for me mum. These aren't for me mum, because I've just noticed I've knit her a pair there. I've got a little eyelet roll where I'm going to put some, like, I don't know what you call it, like the gauzy ribbon, and just put a pretty ribbon through with a little bow. So yes, I'm doing the shoulder shrug today. Apparently that seems to be the thing I'm doing at the minute. It annoys John like hell. My next finished object is the roll socks. Another pair of socks, and these have been on the needle for ages, and I don't know why I didn't finish them. These are some sock wool that I bought from Mustache Yarns, which is an American dyer, Stacey. And I was cosseting a pair of it. I was after some of this wool for ages, but I didn't know if I could justify the expense, because it was a lot of money. And then I thought, oh, I'll get stung for customs and stuff like that. I don't know if I did get stung for customs, actually. I think I paid it up front. No, I did have to go and pay customs. And yes, they were expensive, I would say, but oh, so worth it. Oh, I absolutely love them. And these are them. Now I'm going to show you the other one, but there's a mistake on the other one because I've dropped a stitch, and it looks like I've picked a stitch up and dropped it in the same row. So these are them. And what it is you get your skein, and each skein is divided into 2 50-gram balls. so that you get exactly the same socks. So you get a pair. And these are the licorice all sorts. I think, are they all sorts? All sorts. Oh, did you call them licorice all sorts? I don't know if you'd be able to call them licorice all sorts, but there must be the all sorts. But oh, loved it. And what I did was, excuse me, what I did was on these, I knit past the heel to the foot. And then I decided to have a bash at doing 2 at a time because there were 50-gram balls. Now, I've tried this in the past. Years and years and years ago, I went to Helen Stewart's first Curious Handmade Knitting Retreat. Mina Phillips was there, the Knit Next Pact. And she did, she sort of showed everybody how to do 2 at a time. Well, I just thought, what the hell? This is too much hassle for me. I was all over the place. And anything to me, when it's knitting, because it's your hobby, anything that's a hassle, it just doesn't happen. You know, because it's meant to be relaxing. I don't want anything, as soon as I look at it and I think, oh my God, that stressed me out, which is pathetic because it's just knitting. I think, oh, I'm not doing that. So yes, so I finished these, and these are just going in my box of socks for, I don't know who. I always say I'm going to keep them myself, but I don't. I end up just putting them all, what I do is I knit socks all year round to go in my gift box, and usually any that's left at the end of the year I stick in my sock drawer. But I was going through my sock drawer the other day, well, just after Christmas actually, because we're moving, and I'm thinking I need to have a good clear out. And a lot of the socks I've knit for me and Jonathan, going back, and I've knit socks for about 20 years, so these socks have served their time, are starting to look really shabby. And I felt, when I felt the wool, the wool has gone a bit harsh. And I have to say, and I love a good hand-dyed yarn, but all my hand-dyed yarn socks haven't lasted as well as my commercial sock yarn. And it's all exactly the same wool count. You know, I'm not on board with this yarn snobbery thing where, you know, hand-dyed's best. It's not. It's beautiful. It's beautiful and it's creative, and I wouldn't rock it because I like nothing better than going somewhere and buying a few skeins of hand-dyed yarn. But the wool blend's exactly the same. The thing with commercial yarn is it's just dyed on a massive scale, and it's commercial, you know. So I'm slowly, and I've got a very healthy indie dyed yarn stash, which some of my yarn, I've sorted all my yarn out for when we move. We're completely downsizing, so I haven't got the room to take everything. But fortunately, I have a static caravan. And we've never filled the storage compartments underneath the seats. So all my wool is going to my caravan. But my indie dyed wool that I've bought, that I, you know, from lovely dyers. I've got some lovely Lay Family yarns, Ring of Rosie, Black Elephant, the Wool Barn, who are Nora George, and I've got, oh, just love it. I've put that all in a special bag with me mothballs, and that's coming to my new house with us, so I can still squish it and have it as an installation rather than my stash. So yes, so they're my all sorts of socks by Stacey. It's just a plain vanilla sock, 64 stitch cast on with a fish lipstick seal. So that's them. I'm going to take them off the sock blockers as I go along, because otherwise they'll stay on the sock blockers. I've seen sock blockers. These are what I use for when I go to shows to put the socks on, and they are just the mats that I got from the animal department of BM, and I just cut them out. The feet of, you know, what you put on the floor, like dinner mat, table mats. But these I couldn't get them, so I used the ones from what the dogs, yeah, out the dog section. Right, my other finished object, and it's not really a finished object because I've just got one, and it was my zigzag socks, which are for all King Cole stock wool. What I did was I had a few kits of these made up, and each colour I took off 10 grams, skeined them up, and I've knit each colour. Well, I haven't knit each colour, but there will be by the time I knit sock 2 and I've knit them into a pair of scrappy socks. These are lovely. I'm really pleasantly surprised with this. I knit this wool years ago, King Cole zigzag, and I didn't like it. I thought it was too slippy. And I mean, years ago, I'm talking like 10 years ago, I can't remember when it first came out. And I got another ball to test, because I never buy blind in the shop. I always get a ball and I test it and I wear it and I wash it and wear them, see what like. And apparently they've changed. I think it must have changed, because now it's a 75-25 blend of superwash wool and nylon. Oh, they're lovely and plump. Now I haven't knit the other one, but I do have some of the kits in the shop where you get a skein of each wool. They are on a pre-order, because I wind all the skeins by hand. I love doing that. It's a right pain in the neck, people think, but actually I love it. I just set myself up in my shop room and put my audio book on, and depending on what I'm listening to as to how much you get in your skein. So it's a really scary book. I go like the clappers winding, you probably end up with a few meters extra. But yeah, these are lovely. I've got to knit the other one to them. My favourite colour is actually this one, and it's cocoa. I think it's cocoa. It's that is my favourite colour, that one, because it's like lovely rich greens and browns and stuff. Yeah, and I quite like this one as well. This one is sunset, this one is bluebird, and this one is strawberry. And this one I think is gin fizz, and that one's berries, and that is one Wedgwood. No, that one might be Wedgwood. That one's Wedgwood, this one. And this one's berries. And that's amazing that I can remember that, because I can never remember any colourways. I feel miserably when it comes to remembering like that. I'm always impressed when people remember the exact colourways, names that they've dyed. Because if somebody phoned me up and asked me about a colourway I dyed, I wouldn't have a clue. I'd have to go back to the drawing board and see what it was. So my final finished object that I've knit since Christmas, it's another pair of socks. Now, Mum, if you're watching, just forget you've seen this, because these are my mum's for Mother's Day, because I didn't give her a pair for Christmas. I don't do Mother's Day presents. Just when I go up north, I usually take my mum some treats and my dad some treats, but Mother's Day is always a bit commercial for me. So when we're little, we always did when I lived at home, I should say, up north, we always do a bunch of daffs, and my kids are the same. It used to be for that and Father's Day as well, a 50p pick and mix, or my husband used to take them around the local florists, and they used to buy a little pot with primroses in. Oh, I used to love it. Anyway, my final pair of socks are these. It's an opal sock yarn, and it's from the Ocean range, and I've just popped in a solid for the toes, and this is the rose, but I'm sold out of that, so I didn't use very much from 100 gram ball. So yeah, there's going to be a lot of rose coloured toes in my future sock knits. So they're all my finished objects. I didn't think I had many, but I have got quite a few. It'll probably be on a lull now for the rest of the for the next few months. Just getting stuff sorted for the house move, and that is like just a nightmare. Well, it's not a nightmare really, it is what it is. But just thinking, oh my God, I'm going from like a family house to a 2-bedroom apartment. It's beautiful. Oh, I can't wait. I absolutely cannot wait. So the other things I thought I'd show you before I get to my works in progress are some of my designs, because I seem to be selling a lot of my patterns lately. Don't shout out about my designs very often. And this, I'm going to show you my first one. This is Stitch in a Ditch. And these are my colourwork socks. I love colourwork. So this I've knit using John Arbon Exmoor sock wool, which is lovely, lovely, lovely. 2 50 gram balls I've used, and one of my lovely, lovely friends, Catherine Limer, she's knit with she's Catherine Limer on Instagram, and she did my test knit for me on these, and Catherine is a tech editor, so she tech edited my pattern for me and did a fabulous job. So I have her to thank for these being complete. I knit these ones. And sometimes when you're with me, because I just pick up a pair of socks and knit them, sometimes I forget when I'm writing them up that actually people are unaware of some things. Like there was once I was teaching a class and I broke it into 3 weeks. So you did the cuff and the leg, the heel and the foot, and then on the toe. And one mum got away with herself when she was knitting. She got right the way down the heel, and then the next time she came, she'd done the heel, and then she'd immediately gone into the foot. So she said, I don't know what I've gone wrong. And I've said, well, you haven't knit the foot. She says, well, when do I, and I actually, so like, I just, presumed that somebody who, when they finished the heel, they would just automatically know they've got to knit a foot. You don't go straight into the toe. But then I had to change the pattern and write that in, that you need to knit, so I'd done like the cuff, the leg, the heel, knit your foot for so many, till then, and then you start your toe. But she'd missed that bit out, so it was like the heel, and then the toe, like that. Now to me, I would think, well, why the hell haven't you knit a foot? But it has to be written out. So Catherine, thank you for that. Everybody now has a foot. But I love these. Absolutely love them. I haven't worn them yet. The thing is, I do want my test knits. And I don't because I don't do these virtual fibre shows. And because that would just be right out my comfort zone. And I've done a couple of shows. It's hard going. We did Yarndale one year and nearly finished my husband off because he works really long. Well, he did work long hours. So he finished about 9 o'clock on a Wednesday night, came home, packed the car up, we drove up and sorted Yarndale out, come back on the Sunday night, straight back into work, and nearly finished him off. He said he would never ever do it again. But that was hard going, that one. So and then I did a one in London. I did the Knit for Peace one, that was lovely. And I did a one in London. What was that for? I can't remember, but that was really lovely. And then I've done Fibre East, which was, I think, my favourite, because it wasn't it was busy, but it wasn't like, Yarndale was just like crowd control. So so I make all these samples up thinking, I'll keep them for when I go to a show. But I don't do the show, so I should just wear them, shouldn't I? The other socks I'm going to show you as well, these are an old pattern. And these are called the same but different. So you get 2 balls of wool. Again, I'm a great lover of old socks. And basically I've just alternated the colours. So the dominant one on this one was the orange. The contrast was that one. And then on the other one, the other sock, sorry, my girls are having a conversation here that involves that I can see, and it's driving me, I can't get out of it. And so this was the Mondum coloured and then the Mondum plain. I'm not going to restock any more Mondum just because the post costs and stuff like that. And there's another company that I get wool from in Germany, and they've said that they won't be sending any out to the UK lately till because some of their, I think the carriers aren't transporting any UK goods or the wool or something like that. So so I'm going to knit these up in some John Arpen Exmo. They are the same length. They don't look the same length, but they are the same length. So these, I've knit them on the pattern. There is an alternative to you can do put my teeth in, Julie. So we've got the corrugated rib, but here I've just got the ordinary rib, 2x2 rib. And again, I've alternated the colours. I actually might give my mum these. I don't know if my mum would wear odd socks. I love odd socks. Usually my odd socks are John's. The socks I'm wearing at the minute, I'll take them off actually and show you. They're a bit shabby looking, mind. The other week I was in my shop room. Do you know, my feet were perished. And I was too lazy to go up 2 flights of stairs to get a pair of socks, so I pinched a pair out of the shop. These are my West Yorkshire Spinners ready-made socks. I live in these. These are so lovely. Now, I take a size 7.5 and 8. So I went up a size and I got the largest size. And I think this one's called the Pheasant colourway, but oh, these are so, they felted a bit on the bottom. Well, they felted a lot on the bottom actually, but that doesn't matter. My dog likes them as well. Good old Vera loves a good old pair of socks, especially if your foot's in it. So yeah, I'm wearing them, and I wear them to death. I wear them, wash them, put them straight back on. My other pair of socks that I wear is a pair of John's hiking socks. I didn't know how I got onto them. Right, let's get into works in progress, and there's a few. And they're all socks. Well, I have got a cardigan on the go, which is the Strom cardigan by Rachel Hunter. That is in the Shell and Wool Week annual. But I left that upstairs. But it's all socks, so let's get straight into it. Right, I'm going to show you all my... I don't even know if you'll have seen these. Oh, I've got such a frog in my throat, sorry. For Christmas, I knit John a couple of pairs of socks. And I knit them a little bit longer, and I knit them a bigger stitch count. So normally I always knit a 68 stitch count on a 2.5 needle. But I decided to try a different thing. So this time I did 72 stitches on a 2.25 needle with a Fish Lips Kiss heel, and I knit them longer. Fit fabulously. And he said they are the best socks I've knit them. So I've cast on 3 pair of socks for him. One's a one, I don't know how far that will go, but I'll tell you about that later. But they're all using opal. I love opal sock yarn. And these are them. I'm not in a rush for them because he's got plenty at the minute. So these will be, I just pick these up in between projects. I have 2 knitting categories. One is shop knitting and the other one is my knitting. My knitting gets done on a night time, so it's not very fast, because usually it's when I sit down after tea and fall asleep. It's like, I'm not a late go to bed person. I'm usually ready for my bed by about 9 o'clock, and then if I'm still up at 9, well, I'm always up at 9 o'clock, I'll start, I'll nod off between 9 and 10:30, and then I'll go to bed. It's not much knitting gets done. So these are my knitting, and these are lovely. I love these. I love knitting socks for John. I'm knitting them on higher, 2.25. So there's that one, and then there's this one, and this is the opal one. I think this one is the Naughty Friends one. But a nice Fish Lips Kiss heel. And I think I found with the 2.5 and the 68 I was getting looser, and I like a firmer fabric, so they're all his. And they're living in my Hoy Locatelli bag that I got, and this was from me to me for Christmas. My other pair of socks for him that I've knitting is a taupe sock. I'm not convinced on this, just because I'm that cast on at the beginning. Oh my goodness me. It's a bit like knitting 2 at a time. Anyway, and I can never get it right so that the ridge is on the inside. But anybody who gets that close to my husband's toes really sign their own death warrant. And I did Judy's magic Judy's stretchy cast off on the top. So they actually look huge. Well, they do look huge. He takes the size 11 shoe, but they're not as long. I found that by the time I got to the top of here, I was sick of them, so I wanted to cast off. Whereas I think I like knitting the toe up, the top down, because I always knit the leg longer, and then I get cheesed up when I get halfway through the foot. But I think, well, I've got to finish the foot the right size. That's my feeling. Anyway, so they're all Johnny socks that live in that bag. I love this bag. The thing that I have a problem with this bag is, it's so pathetic. When I pick my, on a Tuesday, I call it Tilly Tuesday, because I've always had our Tilly on a Tuesday, and I pick her up from school, even though I have Flynn. So Flynn now is Flynn Friday, when I have him on a Friday. So on a Tuesday, I pick Tilly up from school, and when I pick her up, I always take me knitting because I drive up, because it's too far for me to walk back with 2 pushes, because the last time you go up a hill like that, the one and only time I took our Flynn with us in the pushchair, I virtually needed a defibrillator at the top of the hill. I thought I was going to have a heart attack. That or an oxygen tent. And I couldn't breathe, so I vowed then I would never, ever, I would be one of these ridiculous people that I have criticised for years for not walking to school when the school's in the local catchment. So it used to drive me mad when I used to take my kids to school, and people who I knew lived just down the street, not far away, would drive. Anyway, I've turned into one of them people. Sorry, but I am 30 years older. Anyway, when I get up there, I sit and knit for 10, 20 minutes while I wait for her coming out. And then I go rushing in, grab her, come home. And so yeah, but in the past, I've always left my knitting bag lying on the passenger seat with it open. So that, should there by any chance be an opportunist thief, they'll look in my car and think, oh, well, that's just a bag of knitting. I don't want that. And ignore it. I go on to the next car. But I think this looks like a handbag, which is why I like it. But now when I take it, I have to take it into the school with us, because I think it looks like a handbag. Saying that, about pinching. I was just talking to my sister the other day, and she was on about one of her friends, Pauline, who my sister still goes out on Friday night with the girls she went to grammar school with. So she's got such a close-knit group of friends. And I suppose I've grown up with them because they've always been coming to our house with my sister. Anyway, Pauline, when we were younger, well, she still is, fabulous knitter. And I always remember she had knit a mohair jumper and had finished it and was just ready to sew the ends in. And her house got broke into, and the buggers pinched her jumper. Can you believe it? I would have been furious. So now when I go to bed, I always put my knitting away and what have you. So yes, so you see, if somebody broke into your car, they might pinch me knitting. They can pinch a stereo and stuff like that. But yeah, I remember once we had it when the kids were younger, I'd left my pushchair in the car down. John had left the car down at the station in Ipswich because he used to commute to London. And I needed the car, so I walked down to the station to with the kids to pick the car up. Somebody had smashed her window, and all they'd pinched was a packet of opal fruits. Starburst they're called now. Can you believe it? They didn't even pinch me Osmond CD, which John was like appalled at. He was hoping it would go. Right, I'm changing the subject now. Right, my other cast on, which I cast on last night, is a pair of shorty socks. There weren't going to be a pair of shorty socks, but I couldn't be bothered to knit a long pair of socks. And this week I'm joining in with Earth Tone Denise of Earth Tone Girls, Earth Tone Knits, a pair of socks, a week sock challenge. So I thought, right, we're having a pair of shorty socks. So these are them, and these are the Zauber Ball. This is the garden party. Now I've never done shorty socks before, just because I like really slouchy socks. But at Christmas, one of my girls, I think it was Phoebe, was saying she'd want a pair of shorty socks, and I thought, I know, I'll knit her shorty socks. But they're nice. I'm doing it. I don't know if I'm doing it right. Well, I guess I am doing it right. I'm doing a knit one, slip one, Pearlways heel. 64 stitches, just a little bit of a rib, but this is lovely. 2.25 needles on a 60 stitch cast on. This is lovely. I'm absolutely loving them. So I'm going to sit and knit on these today. And after I've tidied up, Vera has brought a stick in. Vera's my puppy. Vera is the love of my life. And if you follow me on Instagram, you will know I am absolutely besotted with my puppy. She is lovely. I love her. Even though she did poo at the top of my stairs the other day. And I'm not very good with poo. So, but I forgive her quickly. All I could think was, thank God our Tom had forgot to take the wet ones home when they took the kids home with. I think I'll just use them and rubber gloves. I was virtually in a hazmat suit. Isn't that what they call them? J-class suits of police wear. Right. And now she's just brought a massive stick in and it's all over my hallway. Right, I've got a final cast on. Now, these I'm going to say are my March Rainbow Sock Chronicles with Lay Family Yarns and So Sweet Violet. But if you'd asked me last month, there would have been my February socks as well, and next month there'll be my April socks. But we live in hope that they might be finished, and the only reason I'm calling them my March socks is because I've just been watching So Sweet Violet's podcast, which is lovely. She's knit the most beautiful socks, and she's doing is it northeast blanket? Oh, that is so pretty. But I haven't got the patience to knit that. But hers, oh, it just looks beautiful. It's a really lovely podcast to watch this week. And these are them. Now I'm using West Yorkshire Spinners, and the colourway is Lysianthus. And it's in a peach, and peach is the colour for this month's Rainbow Sock Challenge. I think. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. I know it is. So yeah, actually they go with my embroidery that Diddy made us. So these are them. Just made them up. 64 stitch cast on, heel flap and gusset, and a heart. Yeah, so that's all my socks. I did finish a crochet blanket because my, I was going to say my son-in-law, he's not my son-in-law, but he is like my son-in-law, but he's not officially my son-in-law. Our Lucy's fat partner. It was his birthday in February. And I made him a crochet blanket. Well, actually, I made it for him for Christmas, but I never got it finished. And then I actually never finished it for him for his birthday either, because it was one of those things that you have. I don't know why I've done that. It was one of those times I was thinking, oh, I've got plenty of time to do that. And then it wasn't. I was talking to our Lou one day, and I said, "What are you doing at the weekend?" She said, "Well, it's Aaron's birthday." And I was like, oh my God, I haven't finished his blanket. And he was 30, so I wanted to, to do something really nice. And so when they came round, dropped something off, I showed him it and said, this is your birthday present, part of it, and but you can have it when you're finished. So he's got it. It was lovely, and it was with all hand-dyed yarns. A lot of it was Lay Family yarns that I bought when I was at her retreat, Kelly's and Nick's retreat. So what I did was I took, I've got about 10 or 20, probably about 15, let's say 15, indie dyed skeins out my stash. And I just split them and got 50 grams off each, and used all them. And I already had some appropriate colours that would go in already mini balled up. His was lovely. And but of course I've given it to him so you can't see it. But so my youngest daughter lives in London. And I'm slowly knitting crocheting all her friends' blanket. I've made her one, I made Wonder one. And Claire, who lives with her, loves pink, Barbie pink. She loves Barbie pink and Dolly Parton. And it was her birthday. When was her birthday? Last week, yeah. And I was desperate to crochet something, but I didn't want to use any more of me lovely Indie dye wool that I've got, because I want to keep that for me. I'd used that on Lou's and I used it on Aaron's, but I just didn't want to, because it was a lot of money, and the skeins that I've bought have been when I've been at shows with and called lovely memories. So I want to keep them for socks or shawls. And so what I did was I bought 10 balls, all different shades of pink, from Wool Warehouse, Stylecraft DK Special. I love Stylecraft DK Special. I knit our Flynn and Matilda their jumpers all the time out of it. And this is it. So it's lovely. In fact, my sister saw it on Instagram, she says, because my sister's a lovely knitter, but she just doesn't knit, but so she crochets. And when I was making all my blankets, the first lockdown, she said, oh, I fancy that. So she started crocheting. She makes lovely blankets. And actually, she's the only person I would ever dare to say, can you make me one of them? Because she's made a few. And our friends have picked colours. And it's all DK Special. And then I'd said to her, well, I'm moving and all my colours are going to be ochre rust with a bit of pale blue in it. I want a blanket like that for when I move. How bad? And she said, well, you might just get one. Anyway, so I'm not going to make myself one because I'm relying on her making us one. Anyway, this is Claire's. And it's lovely. Oh, it's in it, you know, it's so squishy and soft. So, the colours, right. The colours are rose pink. I can't remember what that one is. Is it hyacinth? I don't know if they've got the colour name. Oh, raspberry. Parchment. Buttermilk. Cream. Where's the cream? Cream. Powder. And I think the lilac-y one is, I'm sure one of them was called hyacinth. I don't know what that is. Oh, clematis. Done this on the end. Clematis, and I don't know what this one is. But isn't that lovely? And I'm just going to crochet it round and round and round. And then when it's finished, it's finished. And then I'm going to knit a Athena one. We'll crochet a Athena one and give them both together, because they don't take long to make. And I think all that wool, and I'm a sucker for nice packaging. So you get it in a gauze bag. So what I'm going to do is, when it's finished, I'll just pop it in the gauze bag. And all that wool came to like 20, it was $1.99 a ball. And I think that's fabulous. So yes, so that's everything. How long have I been going for? Oh, 42 minutes, that's such a long time. Right, so, I have got one more knit. I'll just show you this quickly. Pair of socks. These are my playtime socks. Again, they're going to be odd because I've got the tutus and unicorns, and then I've got this Barbie pink what Lou dyed up at Christmas. She had a skein left, so she gave me this. So, and she's knitted a jumper with this and held together with some fluff, which is beautiful. I haven't got the courage yet to say, Lou, can you knit me a jumper? Because she said, get lost, Bam. You're about 4 sizes bigger than me. I am. So there you go. Right. So, well, I hope I haven't bored you to tears. I did say I had a lot to show you and rattle on about. I'm going to go now and have a cup of coffee, because cup of coffee, it's 2012. It's cup of coffee time. As I say, I haven't got the kids today, which is like knocking me all the pox. I love my days with my grandchildren. And they've sold their, well, they are in the process of selling their house and buying ours. So there's going to be a lap over. So they're coming to live with us. Oh, that's going to be so bad. Well, I don't know if it's going to be so nice, actually. I think they're thinking, and I think we're thinking, thank God we've got a caravan we can go to in April. I love it. But my poor daughter, my daughter-in-law is lovely. I've got to say, you know, as far as daughter-in-laws, I landed a good one. She's great. And she's got a lovely family. The only problem with their family is I like them really so much. You're not supposed to like your in-laws, your daughter-in-law's family, are you? Mine are fabulous. I love a mum to bitch, is great. And so they're going to come and live with us for a little bit, but I think they'll go back and forward between her mum and what have you. So that's going to be great. Really looking forward to that, I think. And what's even better is they've said I can leave all the stuff in the loft. I don't have to take it with us. I was like, yes. And John, my son says, small insulation, ma'am, all that extra wool you're putting up in the loft. Now Lucy and Phoebe are bringing stuff home and putting it in the loft before they move in, so they don't know it's not already there. Anyway, I hope they don't watch this podcast and find out all my secrets. You take care. Have a lovely weekend. Stay safe and happy knitting. Bye.